Hey everybody, welcome back to the channel. This is Dr. Tranews Teaches, and today we're going to talk about Kairos. In this video, I'm going to define Kairos for you as an appeal, and then we're going to go into how it appears in different formats such as written, visual, and oral. So this will give you a good idea of, if you're a student and trying to analyze an argument for Kairos, how to find it, how to define it, how to explain how it functions, and if it functions well. And if you're trying to create an argument, same goes for you. This will be beneficial because you'll learn how to use Kairos effectively. So as with me always is Louis back there having a nap, but hopefully you guys stay awake the rest of the presentation and you guys learn about Kairos. So let's kick it off here. All right, so for Kairos, you want to think about time. That's why this clock is here. I want you guys to keep the idea of time in mind because Kairos is what we're going to be looking at and time is what it depends upon. Okay, so Kairos, we appeal to a certain time or opportune moment. As we just noted, you'll see the GIF there says read the room. We want to understand what is going on in our community, in the audience's community, in the global community, if we're trying to leverage some kind of argument. So we have to understand the current time. Is there a global pandemic going on? Why would my argument function better at this time? Why would it not function so well at this time? We want to leverage popular opinion. If something is very popular, whether it's with pop culture or just a popular idea at the time, then we can promote our argument better. So if you're trying to get people to invest in Bitcoin and Bitcoin's really hot, that would be the time to leverage popular opinion for your argument. It wouldn't be 20 years ago when it wasn't really well known of or didn't even exist, right? Same thing goes if it's something pop culture, right? If it's important on TikTok or Instagram or social media, right? A marketing corporation might take some kind of dance or some kind of video and create a commercial out of that because they know that's popular and people will get eyes on it. But overall, as we know, we have to consider the audience. So for instance, a generation of Gen Z kids will be different than baby boomers versus millennials, right? The audience are different, and we have to understand what kind of time they're looking at. What do they find that's popular at the time as well to understand the audience. Okay, writing. So Kairos can appear in writing, particularly it'll allude to a time or a current issue. So for instance, if we're talking about climate change, we're going to write an essay about climate change, trying to persuade people to use renewable energy. We're going to allude that the time that we're in, we're at a crucial moment of climate change. We're trying to reduce our carbon emissions in order to make sure we can save the rest of the future. Or we want to publish something at an opportune time. So let's say you're a scientist, you're working on climate change, and you have X, Y, and Z findings that are revelatory and going to change minds about how climate change is happening or how we can solve or reduce the way that we are producing more carbon emissions. Well, it'd be great to publish that at the right time, which would be now. Not 20 years ago, not 50 years ago, but right now would be the point that you want to make because the time is right. So as the meme on the right there says, if you remember during the pandemic, if hopefully by the time you watch this, we're out of the pandemic, but many commercials at the time would say, in these unprecedented times, so they're referring to time already, the time that we're in, everyone knows that we're in the pandemic, and then everyone at this point looks like SpongeBob, right? Because we've heard this line so many times that yes, we all recognize we're in the COVID times and we're all sick of it. So writing can allude to time and use Kairos in that way. All right, visuals. With visuals, same idea goes. The images should show the current issue. So as these baboons are doing here, the baboon is pointing to the pie chart showing the earnings of their fictional company, but he is showing the images that are current, right? That's the current data. That image is present. That image is the one that they need to know right now. They want to know what they've earned, right? I'm imagining this is what they're talking about in their boardroom meeting. Also, the images have to be shown at the right time. So let's say the baboon pointing to the pie chart was about to get fired, but he goes, actually, I've raised the company's earnings to X, Y, and Z amount. And he shows that image at the right time. They say, you know what? We won't fire you. So same idea. Visual Kairos shows up at the right time. We show images at the right time to get a certain kind of emotion or reaction or to get eyes on something because we know that will help persuade the audience, but it has to be at the right time. With oral, okay, same idea. You're using sounds, music, or quotes in the right time. So if you're giving a speech, if you're showing a video, if you're recording a documentary, all those formats can use oral Kairos. So we have to present those sounds at the right time. In that sense, we should, of course, also play the sound and music at the right time. So if you're trying to get someone motivated, we wouldn't play the motivational music at the end of our speech. Rather, we'd use that music at the beginning, right? Same thing. If you were going to run a race, you weren't going to play motivational music at the end of it, really, because you finished, but at the beginning to get people pumped up, right? So as the meme there on the left-hand side says, sad music, my problems and me, kind of think about it in that way, right? It is funny in a darker way, but if we are sad, sometimes we'll listen to sad music because it'll make us feel a certain thing. But that in itself is Kairos, because we're using that music at the right time to make us feel a certain way. We're making an argument to ourselves to say we want to feel a little bit more sad. That's okay. So think of that as aural Kairos. Okay, so how to use it, right? You got to read the room. You got to understand what is popular. Who is your audience? What do they know? Do they understand the popular culture you're referring to? Because if they don't, it's going to fall flat, right? We got to know our audience. We got to understand what they know. What do we know? Will our argument hit or will it miss? We also want to be on time. We don't want to miss the punchline of our joke or our argument, right? So think of humor here too. If you're going to say a joke and you miss the punchline when you want to give the joke, people won't laugh, right? So you think of comedians, they work on Kairos a lot. So as the GIF there is, right, you see this older man says, how do you do, fellow kids? Sometimes that's how I feel if I'm trying to make a joke to students and they just don't, either they don't know what I'm talking about because I'm from a different time, or I don't know what they're talking about. So you got to know your audience. So that's a little glimpse into my life, right? But of course, we can use this with the rhetorical triangle. So ethos, pathos, logos can all function with this and create, for instance, a rhetorical rectangle, I would say, or square. So, okay. All right, y'all. So I hope that helps you understand Kairos a little bit better and a more expansive way to understand it, right? So the key thing to remember, it's time. You have to reveal or present your argument at the right time for it to work. Whether it's written, oral, or visual, it has to be based upon time. So I hope this video helped you understand this appeal a little bit better. If it did, give it a like. If you have questions about Kairos, put it in the comment section. If you have an idea of a video you want me to cover about writing, composition, rhetoric, put it in the comment section as well. I'll post as always, I'll put the subscribe button up here somewhere so you guys can follow the channel for more videos. And I'll see you guys next time. Take it easy and good luck writing your arguments.